Another potentially devastating absence for the Orlando Magic, but it doesn't matter. This team's just going to keep winning today on Locked On Magic.
You are Locked On Magic, your daily Orlando Magic podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And you are indeed Locked On Magic. Today is January 4th, 2025. My name is Philip Rossman-Reich. I'm the senior writer over at OrlandoMagicDaily.com. Of course, follow me on Twitter at PhilipRR_OMD and on Blue Sky at PhilipRR. On today's episode of Locked On Magic, why the Orlando Magic are doing what great teams do. Once again, next man up, everybody stepping up, playing their role, and delivering a big win. We'll get to that coming up here in just a moment. First, I want to thank you again for making Locked On Magic part of your day every day. No matter when you listen to us, whether it's first thing in the morning, whether it's right when we upload, we truly appreciate you making Locked On Magic part of your day every day. You can make Locked On Magic even bigger part of your day with the Locked On Magic Daily Newsletter, the one stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox Monday through Friday. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com and start your day with the all-new free Locked On Magic newsletter. Today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL playoffs are almost here, but it's not too late to get in on the regular season action with FanDuel because right now, new customers can finish the season strong with $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. At some point, it sure feels like this team is going to break. At some point, it sure feels like the Orlando Magic aren't going to be able to withstand everything that they're facing and all of the adversity that is hitting them. At some point, it's going to stop. The Orlando Magic shot ridiculously well. They made 9 threes in the first quarter. They made 12 threes in the first half, tying team records. And yet, halftime was down. Because Jalen Suggs, for lack of a better way to phrase it, tweaked his back. He lunged for a steal and just collapsed and just went down on the floor, holding his lower back. For now, the Magic are describing it as back spasms. He'll be reevaluated when the team returns to Orlando on Saturday. Not tomorrow, on Saturday. It is another potentially devastating absence. While Suggs has missed games during the course of this period without Paolo, Banchero, and Franz Wagner, at some point, it just all feels like too much. But that's the thing. Good teams, great teams, it's not too much. Great teams find a way, and they may not have it every night without their best players, but they don't quit. They don't stop. They don't give in. They don't use it as an excuse. I hate to do this to the Toronto Raptors, who the Magic played on Friday night. But how the Magic responded to Jalen Suggs' injury, how the Magic just kept plugging along, how the Magic have kept plugging along for the last 2 months, that's the difference between a team like the Magic that is a playoff team and a team like the Raptors, which is not. The Raptors have been without Emmanuel Quickley for most of the season. He played in this game. They've been without RJ Barrett for a good chunk of the season. He was out this game. Those types of the teams at the bottom of the standings are the ones that don't have the belief and the faith to stick to what they do, to stick to what makes them successful, to fill in and next man up their way to a winning record or a 500 record or whatever they need to be. We've been there before with this Magic team. When they face injuries we know are the end of the season. When they face injuries, when they don't have the depth or the confidence or the identity or the culture to keep things going. We see this so many times with the best teams in the league. Even down critical and key players, they respond. They keep getting back up. And maybe it's because we're just in year 2 of this playoff thing. It still feels novel and new that the Magic haven't lost their season, that they're still in this thing, that they're still sitting in 4th place in the Eastern Conference, that they're still 21-15 with a better record today than they had at this time last year. It still feels incredible that the Magic are doing what they are doing. But it shouldn't be, because they've done this for 2 months now. They've built this trust over the last 3 years to believe in what they're doing and say, okay, we're down this player, someone's going to step up. May take Jamal Mosley a little while to find him, but someone's going to step up. It could be Tristan Da Silva scoring a career high 25 points. We'll talk about him here in a minute. It could be Cole Anthony dishing out a career high 11 assists, hitting 2 critical shots when Toronto made their run to cut the deficit down to 9. But he was 1 for 8. To still believe that he could get the right shot, that he could find the right play, that he would make that big play. The Magic still have that belief when younger teams or more inexperienced teams or non-playoff teams may not have that. It's Goga Bitadze putting in a near triple-double with 7 assists to go with 13 points and 11 points and 13 rebounds. We'll get to the box score later. It could be Corey Joseph scoring 11 points and hitting double figures for the first time in 2 years. Could be Caleb Houston stepping into the starting lineup and providing enough shooting to keep the Raptors honest. It may be different every game, but it is still the exact same. The Magic smothering defense, forcing turnovers, and keeping them in the game when the offense goes cold, because the offense is going to go cold with the players that the Magic are missing. It does not matter, because this is what great teams do. And as we as fans begin to believe, not just that what the Magic are capable of in the not so distant future anymore, but what the Magic are capable of today, right now, in this moment. These are the things that catch our eye. These are the things that feel different from any other year that the Magic have played, from the other seasons the Magic have played. This is what feels different. The Magic aren't fazed by all these injuries. They aren't fazed by all these absences. They're frankly inspired by them because they're not quitting. And so after this devastating blow to Jalen Suggs late in the second quarter, Magic are up by 15. They go to locker room up 12. They come back out on fire, more focused than ever, and blow the doors open to go up by 20 after 3 quarters. And while Toronto did cut into that lead with a 10-2 run to open the quarter thanks to Scotty Barnes, the Magic closed it out. They made the plays. They kept the faith. This is what the great teams do in the league. This is why the Magic are where they are, because they have not quit on themselves. They believe even more in themselves because of this moment, because of what they have done. And it's the kind of thing that puts them in a position to achieve all of their goals despite everything they're missing. Now, we don't know whether this is an injury that could be long-term for Jalen Suggs. We'll learn more about it on Saturday, and we'll tell you more about it on Sunday for that episode of Locked On Magic. We don't know what the prognosis is. Hopefully it is just back spasms and it's just stay off your feet for a few days and you'll be fine. That is the hope. As we all know, it could be worse. It could be something else. We don't know yet. And the Magic have suffered a lot. And on this moment when they're about to get Paolo Banchero back, potentially Sunday, possibly Thursday, the Magic are still going to find a way. They're still going to rally. They're still going to fill in and help out. Next man up is not a cliche to this team. It's who they are. And that confidence is not going away. One player who is playing with a ton of confidence right now is Tristan Da Silva. Why? what he showed us on Friday is what he's been showing us for the last several weeks. We'll get to that coming up here in just a moment. But first, today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. The NFL playoffs are almost here, but it's not too late to get in on the regular season action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, new customers can finish the season strong with $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. It is the last week of the NFL season, of the NFL's regular season, I should say, coming up this week with some big games here in the state of Florida, including the Tampa Bay Buccaneers looking to clinch the Southeast Division as 14.5-point favorites over the New Orleans Saints on FanDuel, as well as the Miami Dolphins trying to make the playoffs as now 1.5-point underdogs at the New York Jets. That line has flipped over the last few days. You can also bet on great action in the NBA, including looking at the Rookie of the Year award. Our guy, Tristan Da Silva, not really listed that highly. He's plus 3,700. I believe that is 7th or 8th among rookies. Plus 3,700. That's 37 to 1 odds if you want to bet on Tristan Da Silva to win Rookie of the Year. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your chance at $250 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Rookies are almost always bad. I'm sorry. As excited as you might be about a rookie, they're bad. They make mistakes. They don't know what's going on. The game is too fast for them. If everything goes right, a player's rookie year will be the worst year of their career. Doesn't matter how successful they are, you know that they're going to make mistakes. And so it is rare to find a rookie who does not make those mistakes. It is rare to find a rookie who picks up the game so quickly. It is rare to find a rookie like Tristan Da Silva. Tristan Da Silva certainly struggled early on, and we could tell that the game was just a little fast for him. But probably faster than most because of his experience, because of the fact that he's 23, because of the fact that he brings so much to the table already. Tristan Da Silva has really come into his own. And it's not just that he scored a career-high 25 points on 9 for 13 shooting and 5 for 7 from 3. It's not just that he had the ball in his hands, making all the big decisions down the stretch of this game. That when the Magic needed a basket after Toronto cut the lead down to 9, it was Tristan Da Silva who made the plays that extended the lead back out. It's not just that he guarded Scotty Barnes. He's been doing this for several weeks now. Tristan Da Silva has truly become a calming force. And his numbers don't tell you this. Entering Friday's game, so before he had his career best game, he's played 31 games, averaging 8.5 points per game, shooting 33.6% from the 3 and 42% from the floor. But he has really turned a corner in the last few weeks. Again, entering Friday's game, over his last 8 games, he's averaging 12.5 points per game, shooting 44.3% from the floor and 35% from 3. But in those 8 games, 5 of those 8 games, he scored 15 or more points. He had double digits only 4 other times, or 5 other times before that. So in his first 23 games, he scored in double figures 5 times. In his last 9, he has scored in double figures 6 times. And he scored more than 15 in all of those. More than that, he has gained trust. And that's the most important thing. It's consistency and trust. The Magic gave him the ball to make decisions in their win over the Brooklyn Nets. It was Tristan Da Silva who carried the Magic with 13 of 21 points in the fourth quarter of that game against the Nets. It was Tristan Da Silva who made the big three-pointer to beat the Boston Celtics. And when the Magic needed everyone to step up and everyone to contribute, it has been Tristan Da Silva who has been a big boost to this team. It has been Tristan Da Silva who has stepped up in so many ways. This is rare for a rookie to do. We saw it with Courtney Lee, another senior who came into a winning team and contributed and found his role immediately. But we've never seen a player quite like this. We haven't seen a player quite like this step up to the plate when this team needed it. When the Magic were desperate for some consistency and someone who could help. It's Tristan Da Silva who's done that. As everyone will note, he's not really doing anything super special. That was kind of the selling point with him, was that he would fit in pretty quickly and pretty immediately. He wasn't going to try and force his way and do fancy one-on-one moves. He was going to take what the defense gave him. The ball was going to find him. We saw that throughout Summer League, if you remember. And in the NBA, that was the case. His cutting, his shooting, it all made him super valuable. Because the Magic didn't have to run plays for him to score and be where he needed to be. But here's the thing. That hasn't changed, but it has. Because now the Magic can trust Da Silva to be more aggressive. Now they do put the ball in his hands and ask him to make decisions and make plays. And he's still rarely forcing things. I know I've said this a few times. He's had some high turnover games. And I've been like, good. Like, I want him to be more aggressive. That's a sign that he is trying things out. That's fine. Again, rookies are bad. They make mistakes. They make the wrong decision. What's been impressive about Tristan Da Silva is that when he does make a wrong decision, he typically learns from it. He doesn't make that same mistake twice. And that's ultimately why he has gained so much trust. And obviously he's producing. Like, we wouldn't be talking about him if he weren't producing. But clearly over the last 3 weeks, Da Silva's gotten very comfortable. He understands his role. He understands what his team needs him to do. He has the confidence to keep adding and doing more. And that is a major statement. That is a major statement of trust and a major statement by a young player of what he can be and what he can do. Tristan Da Silva has been so impressive. And the Magic are not winning these games without him. The Magic certainly do not defeat the Raptors without him. Because he was the one that got the three-point party going. He's the one who was reliable from three. And has become a more reliable shooter. Tristan Da Silva is really comfortable right now. And that's a big reason why the Magic have been able to stay afloat and do the things that they have done. Let's talk more specifically about the game. We'll go through the box score, talk about individuals today, coming up here in just a moment. But first, today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by our friends over at Gametime. I love going to live events. You love going to live events, whether it's sports, music, theater, or comedy. And I've been trying to get more into going to concerts. It's been a big thing of mine, see some live music. I enjoy music so much. And Gametime is my ticket to the show. Specifically, I don't know if I can go to an event or a concert until the last moment. There's a concert coming up in May that's during the second round of the playoffs. I don't know if I'm going to be able to go. If I am, I'm going to need tickets to it quick. And that's where Gametime comes in. Gametime makes it even easier to get tickets to your favorite events with their new feature, Gametime Picks. This feature filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. I was looking to go to Jurassic Park in concert. They're literally, what the Orlando Philharmonic likes to do is put the screen down, show the movie, play the music to the movie right in front of you. Jurassic Park, best soundtrack in movie history. I will, don't at me on that. You know it's true. So I popped on Gametime, looked to see what tickets were available, and understood very quickly looking at the screen which seats were hot, which seats were good deals, and whether I should wait on buying my tickets. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA. That's LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it? Game time. So let's talk about this game. The Orlando Magic defeat the Toronto Raptors 106-97. Really, the score won't say it. And maybe the Magic weren't the most efficient team in the world because of everything else, but a really, really impressive and nice game for the Orlando Magic overall. Obviously, there was a major absence and a major injury with Jalen Suggs. He was 2 for 7, 2 for 5. He was like one of the few guys that was struggling on offense. The Magic offense moved and flowed as well as it's moved and flowed in a very, very long time. They had one bad quarter, and that was the fourth quarter, which is odd for them. But they dropped 37 in the first quarter. After falling behind early against the Pistons and struggling early in games, the Magic really did seem to come out focused and desired to have a strong start, especially a strong start offensively. It sure helps when you make threes, though. I'm sorry. Sometimes I want complicated answers, and there are some complicated answers here, but when you make a season high 19 3-pointers, when you make 9 threes in the first quarter, when you make 12 in the first half, setting team records again, a season high with 19 3-point makes, when you shoot 43% from three, you're doing something right. And that makes everything else easier. You can make mistakes when you're shooting the ball this well. Now, I would argue and I would say the Magic definitely settled for threes. There was definitely, they had that hot streak going and then they started missing some shots. They got outscored in the paint 44-32. So good paint defense overall for Orlando to only give up 44 points. But the Magic are not going to win very many games scoring 32 points a game. In fact, Orlando was just 16 for 28. They did not get to the paint a lot. And there's a lot of times during the game, especially when Toronto was kind of making some runs, where I was just screaming like, okay, stop the threes, everybody. They were going in. They're not anymore. Get in the paint. Get to the foul line. But again, a lot of the Magic's three-point looks were coming exactly how you want them to come. I know everyone's a little paranoid about three-point shooting, and look, it worked tonight. It worked in this game, so, let's not belabor the point so much. You still have to get quality three-point looks, and as long as the Magic are getting and taking quality three-point looks, I'm going to be fine no matter what the percentages are. That's just how I feel. The Magic did a really good job getting feet set threes, getting dribble penetration and kickouts to threes, and moving the ball around the horn to get open threes. The Magic had 32 assists on 37 field goals. Every coach in the league will take that. And Orlando shot 46.8%. They only took 79 field goal attempts, so very low pace game, very slow game as far as your possession number. The Magic have struggled with passing in the past. So to have 32 assists on 37 field goal makes, that is chef's kiss. That is really, really good. The Magic got contributions from everyone. Again, Tristan Da Silva, 25 points, 9 for 13 shooting, 5 for 7 from 3. Just so efficient. He does such a great job picking his spots, picking when to attack, shooting when he's open. He doesn't force anything. He's been an incredible addition to this team. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope with a solid 15 points. Back-to-back good scoring games for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. 6 for 10 shooting, 3 for 7 from 3. He said, I believe after Wednesday's game against Detroit, that his goal for 2025 is to be more aggressive. I like that he's taking 2-point shots, that he's getting into the paint, that he's willing to drive a little bit more, especially with everything the Magic are missing. Another guy willing to attack. He's a better passer, I think we give him credit for, but making some passes, making some plays, really, really big job from him. Cole Anthony really struggled in this game, but still made a lot of contributions. 9 points, 11 assists, a career-high 11 assists. He did have 3 turnovers, and some of those turnovers were really bad. Cole still has the problem where he gets stuck in the paint among the trees and has to force shots up because the Magic's offense isn't really moving to help him and isn't really putting him in position to make plays. And, Cole's going to keep shooting, and Cole needs to keep shooting. He passed up on one shot, had a turnover on a shot that he started to rise up for and then tried to pass late. Didn't work. He still needs to shoot. He's 1 for his first 8. So he made his last 3 shots, including those 2 big shots that put the Magic up by double digits really for good and put the game out of reach for Toronto. So again, Cole Anthony's shooting numbers aren't great. Not going to pretend that they are. He did some really good things and was really vital in keeping the ball moving. So was Goga Bitadze. 11 points, 13 rebounds, 7 assists for Goga Bitadze. He added 3 blocks. A big presence around the paint. Maybe a little hesitant to attack the basket, but he does such a good job. And this is really where he's improved and taken such a big step. He does a good job holding the ball at the top of the key or at the elbow area, running those double drags, running those dribble handoffs, just being a decision maker with the ball so the Magic can create some movement. They usually like to run guys to the empty side of the court, so Goga has some space to roll into. He rolled really aggressively in the second half. A really good Goga Bitadze game, and honestly, like a solid Wendell Carter game. He was 2 for 7, 0 for 3 from 3. Played some great defense. 9 rebounds, was really active on the glass. They did a good job. You know, Jakob Poeltl had 25 points. He's getting a lot of dump offs, and he's just an efficient scorer around the basket. But only 6 rebounds for Jakob Poeltl, so I think the Magic ultimately did a very good job dealing with him and what makes him a dangerous player. But again, contributions everywhere. Corey Joseph had 11 points, 4 for 7 shooting, 3 for 5 from 3. Corey Joseph's first time scoring double figures since 2023, since late 2023 season. Coming back home to Toronto, played really well, made those shots. Again, just making shots makes everything easier. More than that, the Magic scored off of turnovers. Toronto shot really well to start the game. They're keeping up with the Magic. The way the Magic built their lead, and again, they extended it because of their three-point shooting. They maintained it because of their three-point shooting. The way the Magic built their lead was because they were forcing a ton of turnovers early. They end up with forcing 11 turnovers for 20 points. They score 16 fast break points on 5 for 8 shooting. The Magic have been really, really bad this year at converting off of those turnovers, and the third in the league in points off turnovers. So that's not completely true. But they could be a lot better. They've been really bad in transition. They've been bad in transition for a few years. That is a big point that the Magic should be trying to improve on. This game, all the things the Magic have been really struggling with, from three-point shooting to turnovers, the Magic executed really well. They did a good job on it, and that's how you end up with a win. Again, just a lot to like with a lot of players on this Magic team. Everyone who stepped in did something. You know, Trevelyan Queen came in, made some big plays, had that big dunk late in the game. You know, Jett Howard was only 1 for 5 and 1 for 4 from 3, but I like how aggressive he's been of late. You know, you definitely see improvements. He's maybe not ready to play at the level the Magic need him to play at, but he's making progress. You know, Jonathan Isaac made a 3. Looked really spry defensively. He had 2 blocks in this game, a really solid game for him. Caleb Houston made a couple threes early, while, you know, he only had those 6 points and he was kind of left out of the rotation late in the game. That helped set the tone for the Magic. Again, just making some early threes goes such a long way to making the defense think about you. Like, there's even a play in the first half. The Magic had made a bunch of threes. Wendell Carter gets the ball at the top of the key. He is a bad three-point shooter. Let him shoot it at this point. Toronto felt like they had to close out on him because everybody was making threes. He gives that like slow-mo pump fake that we haven't really seen much this year from him. Drives to the basket, gets a dunk. Making early threes matters. The Magic made early threes, and that put them in a position to win this game running away. They led by as much as 22. They never really trailed in this game. Not a dominant showing, but a really solid showing for the Orlando Magic. Again, just a nice win. They all count the same in the end. A really nice win for the Orlando Magic over the Toronto Raptors, 106-97. The Magic are next in action Sunday against the Utah Jazz, and we are officially on Paolo watches. He might be coming back. Yeah, I don't know. I'd put it at, you know, having not been around the team, I probably shouldn't put odds on it, but there is, I would say there's a more than decent chance that Paolo returns on Sunday. It's going to happen. Honestly, it's probably happening in the next week. It's probably happening much sooner than you think. So we are officially on Paolo watch, potential for him to return on Sunday. But that's going to do it for me today. I want to thank you all again for listening to today's episode of Locked On Magic. Of course, find me on Twitter at @PhilipR_OMD. Find me on Blue Sky at PhilipRR. You can subscribe to the podcast at Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Himalaya, Google Play, Spotify, Odyssey, and all of the podcasts to your podcast-enabled listening device. You can find us on YouTube as well. Just search for Locked On Magic. For the latest on the Orlando Magic, be sure to check out OrlandoMagicDaily.com. You can find us there on Twitter at OMagicDaily. And for even more Orlando Magic content, be sure to check out my Patreon page, your Orlando Magic Hub, at patreon.com/Orlando Magic Hub. As always, Thank you for your support. Don't forget, too, that your favorite podcast now has a newsletter. Introducing the Locked On Magic Daily Newsletter, the one-stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com and start your day with the all-new free Locked On Magic Newsletter. That's going to do it for me today, though. I want to thank you all again for listening to today's episode of Locked On Magic. For Orlando Magic Daily and Locked On Magic, this has been Philip Rossman-Reich. We'll see you all again next time for another episode of Locked On Magic.